Hi there, this is Steve Spurrier. You can join University of Florida Hall of Famer Shane Matthews and also the two-time SEC Player of the Year every weekday as he brings you all you need to know about the Florida Gators, including news, analysis, opinions, and some of the biggest names in sports. You can find him on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Or you can watch him live at 8 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter.
Good morning. It's a live edition of PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. It's Friday, day 2 of the brackets. The brackets are played today. A lot of upsets yesterday, a lot of blown leads. It's hard, as I've said multiple times on here, it's hard to hold leads in college basketball today's world. We'll have Kevin Brockway live from Indianapolis join us later. Let's go to the Titan Number Hotline. We're joined by JC. Good morning, JC. How you doing?
Morning. Yeah. Hey, listen, I got the Gators going all the way to Dallas. I got them going to Dallas.
Losing to Houston. Yeah, I'm the same way.
Yeah, I'm playing Houston. Hey, yesterday was a great day. Today I expect much of the same. Biggest story to me yesterday, there's a couple of them. Jack Golke, 32 points, 10 threes. Oakland over Kentucky, the greatest Kentucky team ever, according to you. 80-76.
I never said that.
You always said that. You said it for like 2 months, but that's okay. They're going home. They should fire Cal and hire Billy Donovan there. Let's see. Duquesne, first win in the NCAA since 1969. First appearance since 1977. So the Dukes have not won a game in your lifetime, QB, until yesterday. So congratulations to Duquesne. Who would have thought that that's the school in the city of Pittsburgh that would be enjoying March Madness right now as opposed to the University of Pittsburgh? No surprise on my bracket with Gonzaga blowing out McNeese State. No surprise there. North Carolina State, here we go. The magic continues. 11 seed over 6, 4 players, 16 points or more. They will now play Oakland. So NC State looks pretty darn good. The ref saved Kansas to beat my Samford Bulldogs and your Samford Bulldogs. Terrible call at the end of the game. It was clearly a block. I don't know if you saw that play, but they were coming back to beat Kansas. Instead, the refs gave Kansas 2 free throws, and that was the end of it. I think if Iowa State shoots 58% from the floor, that's a team that's going to probably beat UConn. If Dayton doesn't come back on a 24-4 run, Anthony Grant doesn't get to the next round, and Nevada chokes. And then finally, Texas holding Colorado State to 11 points in the first half of their game was truly amazing. I couldn't believe 11 points at halftime. And the SEC, a nice 1-3 day for you in the first day of the NCAA tournament. There you go.
The only thing that surprised me, the South Carolina loss, I didn't think they could beat Oregon. South Carolina has not been impressive to me all year. Oregon,
well, they gave the guy a $30 million extension. So if somebody
just because he lost the game in the doesn't mean they're good. I mean, look, JC, there were how many games played yesterday?
Oh, I don't know.
32,
something like that.
Right.
I don't think.
Well, half the teams lost. No. Half the teams lost. But so I'm just saying, South Carolina had a terrible matchup with Oregon because they play this matchup zone defense that you never see, like the teams in their conference. And if I was a basketball coach, I would really look into this because think about Syracuse with Jim Boeheim all those years. They played a 2-3 matchup zone defense that gave people fits, not in their conference, but once you got in tournament play because you can't prepare for it. Yeah. And it just ate South Carolina alive. And the kid that transferred from South Carolina 2 years ago, Kuznard, ate him alive. He scored 40. Oregon's a scary, scary team. Now they're going to be matched up with Creighton, who excellent X's and O's. It'll be interesting to see what the Blue Jays do to that zone. But South Carolina just they never looked great to me during the year, and I know they beat people. Mississippi State looked terrible yesterday. Obviously, Kentucky going down. But I remember saying the teams in the SEC that I thought could make a run were the teams that are still left. Now, I did include Kentucky. What's crazy about the Golke kid, or however you pronounce his name?
Yeah,
he's taken 350 something threes this year.
Wow,
and only 8 2-pointers.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, he
made shots
Wow.
I mean, it was just remarkable, the stuff he did, and it was fun to watch, though.
It was fun to watch. The Golden Grizzlies. QB, I think
you thought JC, you thought they were in Oakland, California.
Well, Golden Grizzlies, that's the state
right.
animal.
But California. Oakland's been in the tournament before.
Yeah, they have.
And I'm pretty sure we talked about this. People were giving me crap about the Mid State. Look, I agree. They played terrible. I wasn't the only person that picked them. A lot of the experts out there picked them to win. But the Sanford Bulldogs are for real. Man. And that's why I think James Madison look, just because you pick upsets in the first round, that does not destroy your bracket. I think people need to realize, because when you start getting all your points and stuff is the second and third rounds and who makes it to the Final Four. So if you're going to pick upsets, you need to do them on the first pick.
Well, and what also destroys your bracket is if you have Kentucky going to the Final Four.
Right, if you have Kentucky. But like I had Kansas is not going to make it to the Final Four. Okay, so I had them losing. Wisconsin's not going to make it to the Final Four. I have them losing to James Madison.
I have Marquette losing to Florida, and a lot of folks got Marquette getting through the Elite Eight.
Yeah, so I mean, just because you have to pick upsets. I mean, I didn't pick Oakland to win, but I could care less about my bracket. I can't even log back in because I already forgot my password. I do know who's in my Final Four, though. Okay. Tennessee. My Final Four is Tennessee, North Carolina, Houston, and Illinois. I do know that.
You've got Illinois beating Connecticut in Boston. Wow. Good luck.
Yeah.
Well, that's a bold pick. I mean, it's a bold pick. Illinois is a physical team, but my God, UConn in Boston? I don't know.
I don't give a damn where they play. You don't know what's going to happen, JC. It's not like we had to worry about weather. It's a basketball court. Okay.
Well, I think there'll be more fans for UConn.
Dan wants to know the name of my bracket. I don't even know that, Dan. I don't even know when I did get into the thing. I'd already had an account set up with ESPN, which I have no idea when I did that. I filled the bracket out, and now I can't figure out how to get back in. So I just know I know my four teams are still alive.
Today I've got Houston and Texas A&M advancing, even though I'm wearing the Big Red. I don't mind if the Big Red wins.
I have both of those teams winning, if I remember correctly.
I got James Madison and Duke winning today. Yep. I've got Florida and Marquette winning today. I've got Purdue and TCU winning today. I've got
who's TCU playing?
TCU is playing the Utah State Aggies. I've got
I can't remember who I picked in that game.
Yeah, I've got North Carolina and Alabama moving on today. I've got New Mexico moving on today with Baylor, and I've got San Diego State, Auburn, Northwestern, and UConn all moving on today.
Yeah, I think those sound about what I have.
I think San Diego State could be in for a fight with UAB, but I don't think UAB's got the physicality to stay with San Diego State, but I could be very wrong. I just hate that Auburn and Iowa State are in UConn's bracket. I don't know why that bothers me. It's been bothering me for a week.
Yeah, I don't know why you give a damn. Who cares?
Well, you're an Auburn fan now, so I mean, I was kind of hoping.
No, I don't care. I mean, look, crazy things happen in this tournament. We saw it yesterday.
Yeah.
Again, what's amazing to me, because I wrote it down, and it was Nevada was up 17 points with less than 7 minutes to go in the game and lost. Think about 39. That.
56 to 39. Yeah, 24-4 run. And
Drake blew their lead last night too and lost. So I mean,
it happens. Drake can't win in this thing. They've blown two big leads, double digits in two successive years. But I'm kind of happy for Duquesne. I mean, this coach is going to retire, right? He was LeBron James's high school coach, and he's in Pittsburgh coaching this school in the middle of town nobody talks about or cares about. And here they are moving on. The Dukes, I think that's a cool little story. I don't know how much longer they've got to last, but good for them winning yesterday. First win since 1969, QB. You have been alive.
I don't even know if they've been in the tournament. That's the thing.
They were last there in 77.
All right, so everybody here is blasting me about Reed Shepherd. He did not play well, but I don't know if anybody on Kentucky played well at all.
Oh, you were so in love with Kentucky. My God.
No. I love Reed Shepherd. Yeah. And I will tell you this. If you're a Gator fan and Reed Shepherd wanted to play for you, you'd take him in a freaking heartbeat.
Yeah, no doubt.
Look, this is what blows my mind is, did he play well? No. Did anybody on Kentucky play to their ability, in your opinion?
Well, they couldn't catch up with Golke. I mean, he kept banging these threes.
I know, but my point is it's a team game. He didn't play great, but Dillingham didn't play great. Antonio Reeves didn't play great. The Trey Mitchell kid who's been out, I wouldn't even play him. He was brutal. I'm glad Kentucky lost. Because I had Florida beating Kentucky anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
No, but Mitch Barnhart needs to get on the phone and tell Cal it's been a good run. Hit the road and bring in and call Billy Donovan.
So I think it's a $34 million buyout.
Mitch Barnhart doesn't care about that. You can call people in Lexington to take care of that. But I think their program, the lack of success at Kentucky in this tournament the last 3 years, something like that, is not up to their standard. QB, they have not been to the Sweet 16 in years. Think about that. This is Kentucky. So I called Billy Donovan and said, "Hey, Billy, you want to get back in it? Billy, where are you, Billy?"
He probably doesn't, JC, because why would you want to coach college athletics when you can just cruise coaching the NBA?
Kentucky can do what they want. He's lost in the NBA. He's making gobs of money, but nobody talks about him in the NBA. Kentucky would be a splash for Billy Donovan to come back to the college world. I think it'd be an unbelievable hire.
I do agree with that, but
Cal's not going anywhere. You're right about the buyout, but again, I know people in Lexington that can take care of that in about 10 minutes. But anyway, I really hope the SEC looks better today. I was happy for Tennessee. They got through that first round. They're going to be in a fight with Texas. I think they can win that and move on to Detroit.
Texas. I've watched them play a lot. I mean, they're okay, but I don't know how they can beat Tennessee. But Tennessee laid an egg. They can do it. Every game's different.
Correct.
On the Titan MR text line, Daryl says, "Glad the Cats are out. Love seeing the looks on the fans' faces when they lose. They think they invented basketball."
Yeah, they haven't done anything in years in this tournament, man. I mean, look at their results in the last 4 years. Kentucky in the NCAA tournament, it's awful, and it's not to their standard, and they are not a factor. I was worried about Houston. I like Houston. I really love Houston, but I think they've got some injury issues. So I don't think they'll have problems today with Longwood, but they will have to run with either Nebraska or Texas A&M. I still think they'll break through to the Sweet 16. I like Houston.
Robert's question on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, says, "Shane, when you say Pullen and Clayton are one or if not the best backcourt Florida's had since you've been a Gator, why doesn't anyone ever mention Dan Cross and Craig Brown?" I have.
Oh, man.
But I think what makes this team different is Walter Clayton, because the two guard, when you look at the backcourt of the national championship teams, it was Lee. Lee was just a spot up shooter. Clayton's a great shooter, but man, he can drive, he can penetrate, he can slash. He's so damn athletic. I don't think people realize how athletic he is. That's why I think they're the best. Everybody's got their own opinion. That's just mine. But Dan and Craig were here when I was playing, and they were outstanding. They went to a Final Four.
And Andrew Moten and the old Buchholz Bobcat, Vernon Maxwell.
Correct.
Great too.
Yeah.
Vernon went to Buchholz, right? You knew that, right?
Yes, I know that, JC. Yes, I know that. Josh says, "Do you think the Kentucky team should have had a tropical smoothie before the game so they could have played better?" Look, they played terrible. There's no other way about it. The kid knocked down some of the most bizarre shots I've ever seen, and Kentucky the zone, they had no answer for it, and they just threw the ball away. They played terrible. They deserved to lose. It's that simple.
How about this run NC State's on too, man? I'm just amazed by them. I mean, this was a team that was dead to rights. Lost they lost their last 4 games before the ACC tournament. Go in and win 5 in a row. Blow out Texas Tech, and then they're looking at possibly beating Oakland now to play hopefully the Gators in the Sweet 16. NC State, wow, what a story that is! I think that's should be thought about. They had 4 guys score 16 or more points yesterday. They are spreading it around and they are clicking. So NC State's a dangerous team, but I really love Florida's chances today against Colorado. 4:30, right, QB? So we're all going to be watching that.
Depending on what the first game does. It's supposed to be around 4:30.
We're all going to be watching that in Indianapolis. I have a friend in Indiana that's all excited about going over there to watch the game. He's a Gator fan. I hope they have a good turnout, and I really love their chances in this bracket to get to the Sweet 16. I'm just a believer in them beating Marquette. I do not think Marquette.
I agree 1,000%. They match up extremely well, Marquette.
Yes.
Marquette needs to worry about the damn Western Kentucky Hilltoppers, though.
You're right. You're right.
They're another one of these mid-majors that get up and down the floor.
Yeah.
I think they play with the fastest pace in America. I thought I read that somewhere.
Really? Western Kentucky. Okay.
Yeah. Radware is a family-owned business that prides itself on excellent customer service while providing quality and affordable promotional products and customized apparel. We got JC here. We're just talking about all kinds of stuff today. We have Kevin Brockway live from Indianapolis.
Did we do
Lee says,
yeah, we did our golf picks. Okay.
Yeah, Lee says on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing. All three number 10 seeds lost in close games. What about UF and their chances in the final 7 versus 10 seed later today? I like our chances. Look, Colorado's a good team. They played the other day. Look, it's the NCAA tournament. That's what's crazy is you don't know what's going to happen. It's all about matchups. I think we match up very well against Colorado. When I talk about matchups, do we match up well against the Houston Cougars? Absolutely not.
Many do.
Right. But the other people in our bracket, I like us.
Win it for Mike. I mean, think about Mike. Think about what they went through last weekend, and now that surgery has been completed and it went successfully, and he's hopefully on the mend. This team can move forward. There was zero chance Florida had against Auburn after that bad accident, and I think now they can wipe the slate clean. They're ready to go. They've got bigs. They've got smalls. They can score and run. And I believe that with Kentucky being out of it now, this is really looking good for Florida. Even though NC State's hottest team in America, I still think it looks good for the Gators to go far.
Text on the Titan our text line from William.
Yeah.
He says, all this talk about the SEC being one of the best conferences in America, and you saw what happened yesterday. Yeah. Look, I get it. I don't get caught up in that because it's the same way with bowl season, JC. We talk about, the SEC went 2-8 in bowls. They're not very good.
Those are different. These games actually matter. So those bowl games don't matter.
I'm talking about before. I mean, now recently, you're right. But I'm talking about back in the day when the bowls were there. Everybody's like, the SEC is the strongest conference, and, you may go 4-4 or whatever.
The SEC in football had the best out-of-conference record in any conference and has won the most national titles. So I don't want to talk about the football. That's not a discussion.
I do think the SEC teams playing today with Tennessee are the ones that can make the most noise because I think they're the most complete teams in the conference.
100%. Auburn, Florida, Alabama. They all should play well. Texas A&M is hot.
With Tennessee playing yesterday, Tennessee, like I said, I got Tennessee going to the Final Four. So
yes, you do. Hey, look, I mean, if they could just defend, maybe the connect goes off, and
they do defend. They're the best defending team we got in the league.
Yeah, they forgot to do that in the SEC tournament, but you're right, they are good, and they will play Creighton, and I believe because Creighton's going to beat Oregon, and they'll beat Texas, and they'll get up there and get ready for Purdue and Detroit. And the Big Orange will have half the state up there in Detroit. I can promise you that. They will travel. So I don't know. That to me matters. You don't seem to care about the fans and all that, but I think it's important. I think it's important to have representation in the building. I really do. Because these are neutral site games, but they don't have to be neutral site games if you've got energy coming from your fan base and you don't have to travel far away. And that's why UConn is such a joke. They get on a bus and they go 2 hours and they're done. It's over. I mean, they're ready.
Or they're the number 1 overall seed. That's why they're rewarded.
But they've got the toughest region, and I just don't understand any of that. But at any rate, Arizona's playing in Los Angeles. That works very well for them. I think Houston playing in Dallas works very well for them, and Purdue playing in Detroit. I mean, we're talking 3 hours. It's nothing. It's not even 3 hours. So it's great. Okay, so that's what we got. I think today's going to be exciting. QB, I'm looking forward to it. Are you going to be on the golf course, or are you going to try to watch basketball today? What are you going to do?
Depending on how wet the golf course is, but I plan to play golf first.
Well, you'll be done by 4, maybe. So, Gator game, can't miss that.
No, it ain't gonna start it. It probably won't start till closer to 4:45 is my guess.
Okay. Well, yeah. Okay.
Yep. So I was just looking at the games today.
Mhm.
The Grand Canyon game against St. Mary's, which I like a lot too, which I like picking these little teams, but I'm telling you, Sanford, man,
St.
they
Mary's
came from 20, they came back from 22 down.
I know. They were ready.
Could you hang on a second, JC? Could you imagine if we were doing a Kansas podcast right now?
Yes.
And they blew a 22-point lead to Sanford.
Or what if we were up in Lexington right now and we just lost to something called Oakland? All right.
Yeah, which my counterpart here on the program thought they were a university out in Oakland, California.
The Golden Grizzlies. Those are Bears. They got the bear on the flag in the state of California, QB. I don't know how many Grizzlies are traipsing through Detroit, Michigan right now, but whatever. The Tulsa Golden Hurricane, okay? Same thing. Whatever. But I'm happy for Oakland. I have no love for Kentucky. What do I care about Kentucky and all their goofy fans? I'm happy that they won. I'm glad Oakland won, but I don't think they're beating NC State. Of course, I didn't think they were beating Kentucky either. So.
Is that who Oakland plays?
Yeah, they play NC State.
Wow.
I mean, if I'm NC State, I'm sitting there thinking, wow, I was thinking about having to win this game just to get to Kentucky. Now I'm playing somebody nobody's talked about all year long. I can get to the Sweet 16 and play the Gators or Marquette, but probably the Gators. So, wow, I'm excited. I think this is great. I love this stuff, man. I just eat this up. I've got a pool at the golf course. I got 3 pools with this guy on CBS Sports. I got 3 pools with this guy on ESPN. I got 3 pools with The Office. I got so many damn pools. I'm going to win something, QB. I got 5 different national champions out there, QB, and people hate it because everybody says if you do more than one pool, you're a schmuck. I don't believe that. I think you can do as many damn pools as you want, and if you win one of those many pools, you are a winner, not a schmuck. Okay.
Tony was correct the other day when he said you do at least 10 brackets.
Totally.
We got all these
Tony.
weather. We got all these Jim Cantoris on
Tony.
here telling me it's going to rain all day. Well, my weather app says the rain it goes to 15% at 9:30.
Yeah,
and doesn't go up to 30% until after 4 o'clock.
I think it's moving out of here, QB.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Yeah. I'm a weather prognosticator.
Yeah, I mean, I think we'll have plenty not plenty of time, but we're going to be playing golf today.
There you go.
JC has more hats than more pools than hats. They say on here.
So the question was, how many hats in this tournament do I have representing the teams in this tournament? And the answer is 22.
22 of the 68?
Yeah, there's a lot of small schools I don't have hats. Like I don't have Oakland, and I don't have Longwood, and I don't have Wagner, and I don't have Boise State. But I do have some schools that you might be. I have Houston. I've got James Madison. I've got Iowa State. I don't have St. Mary's, but I have New Mexico. I love the Lobos. You know who's coaching the Lobos, right?
Yeah,
that'd be Richard Pitino.
He's got a lot of. He always has a lot of. He has like Mashburn's son. He's got Eddie House's kid. Yeah, he brought a bunch of them from Minnesota when he got fired there. But
good for look.
They're fun to watch. The Lobos are fun to watch.
The Lobos played desperate basketball in their conference tournament, won the Mountain West, very impressive. And I think their game today with Clemson could be one of those, upsets where we have the 11 beating the 6. And we had that yesterday. We could have that again today.
Text on the Titanmore text line from Bobby. He says, we need to pray for rain in Baton Rouge. If not, we're going to get swept.
Oh, boy. Bobby. Why LSU went hey Bobby, LSU went 1-2 last weekend, just so you know, Bobby. LSU went 1-2.
Should we call Kevin O'Sullivan and tell him to turn the plane around?
I mean, just turn around. The hell with it. We'll just take 3 L's and get ready for UCF this week or whatever they're playing, whoever they're playing. I think LSU should be worried about going 1-4. How's that? What do you think of that?
Yeah. The defending national champs. What do you think the podcast in Baton Rouge, if the Gators come in there and take 2 out of 3, are going to say about the Tigers?
They're going to say
season's over. Season's over.
We missed that pitcher, that big, tall pitcher that went to the Pirates for $10 million, first pick in the draft. Remember those pitchers they had there last year? My goodness. They don't have them this year. They may have a couple of good ones, but they don't have the guys that won the national title. And that's what you guys got to remember, is that every year is different. People move on. And so I think the Gators are going to be fine. Until they get, their doors blown off, I'm not going to worry about it. And even if they do, this is a long season. This stuff goes into May, folks. It's a long way off. Still, we're going to be all right. I really believe that. You beat Texas A&M 2 out of 3. You have the capability of winning every series you play. If you beat Texas A&M 2 out of 3 games, you have the capability of winning every series you play. Doesn't mean you will, but you can. And that's the only thing I worry about, is whether or not this team had the ability to do it. They did. They beat Miami 2 out of 3 on the road this year. Yeah, they lost to JU. Yeah, they lost to some team up north, St. John's. Nobody's talking about that. That's not what matters. That's not what's going to get you a regional host. So I think we'll be fine. I'll panic if they go and get their run ruled. They get run ruled.
Get run ruled. Down at the Valspar yesterday, Kevin Streelman leads the tournament. He shot 7 under par.
Yeah.
Boy, he played good golf. He hasn't played good golf in a long time, and that's 7 under on that golf course is very good.
That is playing, man. That's a tight golf course. That's good golf. Did you write down who we have, TV?
Yeah, I have them written down somewhere. Let me find them.
Well,
I don't think any of our players were very good.
I don't think any of our guys were really showing up. Oh, I had Shoffley. I took Xander. He's -3, so he's in there.
I had Sam Burns, Brian Harmon, and Sepp Straka. You had Woodland, Xander, and Maverick McNeely.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I got Mavericks -2 and Xander's -3. I'm in this.
All right. John keeps telling me that it's 100% chance of rain. He must have a different app than me.
We're gonna have weather.
My Weather Channel app says the rain is ending at 9 o'clock and it will be out of here. So.
You are the weatherman, QB. John is the weatherman. I'm siding with you on this one. I think the clouds are going to go bye-bye.
Well, I mean, all you got to do is look at the app. They're not always right, but they'll kind of give you an idea.
You think Alabama's going to choke like South Carolina and
the good thing. See, South Carolina, I don't think they choked. I think they're a good basketball team, but their matchup in that zone, they are not good enough shooters to play against that team. Alabama's playing teams just like them. It's going to be a freaking track meet. Charleston is run and gun.
Yeah,
so
I heard that.
Now
I heard that.
If it's one of those deals where Charleston knocks down a bunch of threes, gets a lead, does Alabama tighten up, start taking crazy shots, kind of like how Kentucky did there? But I think Alabama will advance.
You do think so? It's amazing to me. They stuck Alabama and Auburn in Spokane, Washington. So
I want to say in UAB and Sanford are out there, right?
UAB is in Spokane, Washington as well, and they would play Auburn if they both won.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
That would be kind of cool. But the executioner is waiting for them in Boston, and I'm sorry, but that's where it ends for both of them.
Amy's going to give us a swimming update on Facebook Live, brought to you by Melton Law. Bella Sims wins the 500 free, beats male swimmer Leah Thomas's time from last year by 1 second. Gators are in second place after day 2 at the NCAAs.
Good. Here we go.
Swimming and track that last all year long.
And gymnastics, we don't know. I mean, I'm sure they're getting ready.
They haven't even had the SEC meet yet. I think it's maybe tomorrow or today.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. And softball's okay. Everything okay over there with Tim's World?
Yeah, they're like 28-3.
Yeah.
Or 28-4. They've lost twice to Michigan, once to Oklahoma State, and once to Alabama.
Okay. So they're doing fine.
Yes, they have pitching and they hit the ball well, and they host Kentucky this weekend for SEC series, while the Gator baseball team, for some reason, took a flight to Baton Rouge. I don't know why they went. According to all our listeners.
Well, yeah. I think spring sports are really strong here. We all know that. But all eyes are focused on the basketball team tonight. This is going to be a chance to validate what has been, I think, a very good season. And, getting to the Sweet 16 to me defines a successful season. If you can get to the Sweet 16, to me, you have had a successful season when you're a school like Florida. When you're a school like Duquesne, getting to the tournament and winning a game is a successful season. But if you're a school like Kentucky, getting to the tournament and not getting to the Sweet 16 is a disaster. So you could be Kentucky right now. You could be South Carolina. You could be the Mississippi State.
South Carolina had a hell of a year, regardless.
They
had a great
year. And they paid Lamont Paris a lot of money. And Mississippi State, they had a nice little run in the SEC tournament, but they were awfully disappointing yesterday. Just did not show up. Michigan State ran them off right from wire to wire, ran them out of the building. So give it to Tom Izzo. That's why he's so great. He knows what to do.
Before we get you out of here and get to Kevin Brockway, Mike on YouTube, brought to you by Quad Plum, says, you might have already discussed this, but what did you think of the foul call at the end of the Sanford-Kansas game? It was terrible.
They just robbed it. They robbed the player of a great play that could have saved the game for his school. I think they needed to have Kansas. I don't know why. I could be wrong. Maybe they just blew the whistle out of a rush to do something. It was a good play. You look at the video, there was no contact. It was all ball, and they should not have allowed Kansas to shoot free throws. It was a bad call, and it ruined a great comeback. Kansas was dominating the game. Sanford came back, could have won it at the end, and the whistle took them out of the game. So I've got, again, Houston, Purdue, North Carolina, UConn in this 1 of 10 brackets, and we'll see how it goes. I like the Gators, though. I think the Gators are going to make it to the Sweet 16.
Doug, real quick, Kevin says on Facebook Live, why do fans get so worked up on what they can't control, embrace it, and accept the opportunity to be great? I'm not sure what he's referring to there, but
I think Duke. I think Duke's going to lose. Not this game, but they're going to lose to James Madison, who's going to beat Wisconsin today. So that's a lower seeded team, a 12 seed that's going to advance. James Madison, look for them, guys.
Yeah, for sure.
I watched them.
All right, JC.
Yeah.
Enjoy your day watching basketball. We'll see you on Monday, my man.
You got it, brother.
That's JC. Join us on the Titan Hour Hotline. Take a quick timeout. We'll be joined by Kevin Brockway live from Indianapolis. You're watching and listening to PodUp Matthews in the Morning. We want to take this moment to thank our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our premium sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, the only official injury and accident law attorneys of the Florida Gators. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. QC Kinetics. Live pain-free with QC Kinetics. Campus USA. Put some star power to work in your financial life with Campus USA Credit Union.
Comfort Temp. Comfort is our business. Peace of mind is our promise.
Dave & Buster's. Eat, drink, play, watch. Radware, your local provider of promotional products, uniforms, and apparel. Our gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Silverback Concrete, Ruse Ogre State Farm Insurance, Radware, F45, Quality Plumbing. Our touchdown sponsors are Adams Ribs, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Okido America, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, Big Mills Cheesesteak, McDonald's of Gainesville, 84 Lumber, Dowling Signs, Baker Sporting Goods, Silver Q Billiards and Sports Bar. If you're interested in promoting your business on the show, call Freddie at 352-284-3733. If you like what we're doing here, make sure to follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Hi there, this is Coach Steve Spurrier, and I want to let you know that by popular demand, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill's delicious brunch is now served in a premium buffet. You have spoken, we have listened, and we're now serving Gainesville's only elevated buffet, complete with an omelet station, ginger sage chicken sausage, shredded short rib, and of course our chicken and waffles. Plus, you can enjoy bottomless mimosas and Bloody Marys. So join us every Saturday and Sunday from 11 to 3 for the best brunch in town.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Ruse Ogre State Farm Office is a team of dedicated insurance professionals ready to help life go right. With the right insurance options for you and your family, visit ogreinsurance.com. Give them a call at 352-240-1779. Going back to the Titan MR hotline, courtesy of Comfort Tent. We're joined by the Gainesville Sun's Kevin Brockway. Good morning, Kevin. How you doing? Appreciate you getting up. They're on Central Time there, right?
No, they're on Eastern Time. And, the interesting thing about Indiana, I lived up here for a few years, 3 years, is that it's kind of on the western edge of the Eastern Time zone. So it's almost like Alaska, where you have the midnight sun here. It gets darker later, but it stays dark until like about 7:30 in the morning. So you're thinking it's dawn when you're waking up, and it's really 7:30.
Gotcha. I couldn't remember what time zone they were in. First, let's start. Did you go to St. Elmo's for dinner last night? You've been there before, right?
Yeah, I've had the shrimp there before, the shrimp, but
cocktail sauce.
That cocktail sauce is amazing. No, not last night. Didn't make it there. Well, a friend of mine who's in town, I'm going to his wedding next month. He and I got together, and I went a little out of town, closer to his house. We went to Sports Bar, the Ale Emporium, and had my favorite pizza there. They have amazing pizza there, and watched the Oakland, Kentucky game, which obviously was quite the finish and quite the upset. And Shane, not a good day for the SEC like yesterday, 1-3. I mean, obviously Tennessee handled business, but Mississippi State and Kentucky losing did not look very good for the league.
Yeah, I don't really get into that because it's all about matchups. And I was talking to JC, you're a basketball guy. Why teams, now I know not everybody can do it, but you go back to the Jim Boeheim days when his zone used to give people fits. And what Dana Altman has there at Oregon, South Carolina had no answer for their zone, that matchup zone they played. And South Carolina's not a great shooting team either. They're a kind of team that, in conference play, you can prepare for it all year long. But in these tournaments, when you only have a day or so, you can't prepare for it. Why do you think more coaches don't do that kind of stuff? Just like Oakland. Oakland last night played their 2-3 matchup type zone, or 1-3, 1-3-1, whatever it was, and it gave Kentucky fits. Why don't people do that?
Well, I mean, I think it's a matter of also you got what you got to be comfortable with too. I think that's the thing, and you prepare, you scout, certainly, but sometimes teams can throw different wrinkles at you at the last minute, and it's a little bit of a gamble that way, because a lot of times coaches will say, hey, well, we hadn't seen this on film all year, and a different coach will throw that to you. But I think that's just the risk. And I think a lot of times coaches do it out of desperation too, figuring, well, we can't guard this team, man. We have to show them something. And but I am surprised that, teams don't change things up during the course of the game. I remember Billy Donovan learning in the NCAA tournament too, his later years, when he really, I sometimes I considered, Billy's greatest run. I mean, the 06-07 team obviously was amazing, but that run from 2011 to 2014, where he took teams to the Elite Eight, and obviously that last team in the Final Four. I mean, some teams that didn't have the business of being there. I mean, that was a lot of hard coaching, a lot of changing up on the fly, and he had some experienced teams to do that as well. But it was very impressive, the floor coaching that was going on by him and his staff during that period.
Yeah, I guess I may have phrased the question wrong. What I was asking is, like Dana Altman, they play zone the entire game against everybody, like Jim Boeheim used to do, and that's what Oakland does. So what I'm saying is it's almost like running the wishbone or the triple option, because you never see it, and it's hard to prepare for that team. Whenever Oregon didn't have a great conference play because teams know going into the season, when we play the Oregon Ducks, this is what we're going to see. Whereas when you get into tournament play, you don't know if you're going to play the Oregon Ducks or you're going to play whoever. The Syracuse Orangemen, that's all they did. They play zone, and nobody sees it. That's why I'm curious why more coaches don't just say, look, we're going to be a zone defensive team. I know kids don't like playing it. They like to play man, but anyway, I've harped on that enough.
Yeah, I think that's part of it too, the combination of it. Kids want to play man defense because they want to prove at the next level they can play man defense.
Right. Yeah, good point. All right, tonight, obviously, we play the second game after Marquette in Western Kentucky. Gators play Colorado. Um, I haven't seen much of Colorado. I think they're a good matchup for us. I think everybody up till, if you look in our bracket, up till Houston, I know I'm getting ahead of myself. I think the Gators match up really well with them, other than Houston. Your thoughts on that?
I think Marquette would be tough if it shakes out that way. I do, because even though I do think it's a good matchup, because a lot like Alabama, Marquette's a team that goes up and down, but Kolek is fully healthy. Shaka Smart talked about that yesterday. I think he's ready and raring to go, and he's a difference maker. But first things first, I think it's Colorado. This kid Tristan Da Silva could be a matchup problem too, because he's a guy that can score on all three levels. And a guy I wrote about, obviously, huge in this game is Alex Condon. First career start. Obviously, you're replacing Micah Hanlogden. And look, he's played starters minutes all year. He's an all SEC freshman, but still, when your name is called in the very beginning of the game, there's a different feel and a different juice to it. And I think you can respond one or two ways. And Alex, talking to him in the locker room yesterday, pretty level-headed kid. I think he'll handle it fine. But getting out there and guarding Silva is going to be pretty interesting, because he can be a problem, and he scored 20 in that game against Boise State. He's a very skilled 6'9" forward. And then you got Lampkin inside, who's 6'10", 260. So Gators got to avoid foul trouble. I mean, that's huge in this game. Even, there was some talk about Alex Simchik, but he wasn't even dressed yesterday. So I don't think, if they get into foul trouble, they're going to have to play smaller. They're going to have to play four guards. I'll tell you a guy in the workouts yesterday, and I know it's an open workouts and you're shooting against air, but who looked tremendously confident shooting the basketball. It's Denzel Aberdeen, coming off that game last week. I mean, he is someone that's on the rise, and don't be surprised if you see a few four-guard lineups with him ahead of Riley Kugel, especially, considering Riley's up and down season. But Denzel, I think, really, really showed something, and the coaches have a lot of confidence in him.
It's interesting because I watched a lot of basketball yesterday. I didn't realize there was like two or three teams. I know Creighton was one of them. They only play with a 7-man rotation no matter what.
Yeah.
And I think I know the depth's going to hurt us a little bit, but I don't think we're going to miss a beat, quite honestly. Andy's question for you on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel. Do you think Alex Condon and Thomas Houck will remain in Gainesville for their entire college careers?
That's always tricky, but they seem to like Coach Golden. They seem like loyal kids. So I would say yes at this point, but you never know with the transfer portal. But I think that certainly when you look at those two guys, I mean, they're definitely going to be building blocks for the future of this basketball program, and you'd really like to keep them, because not only are they, good players and hard-nosed players, I think they're good culture kids too. They're the kind of kids that they put in the work in practice, and I think that they're both only going to get better and more confident. I mean, Houck showed it in the Georgia game when he scored 17. He showed a little touch from three, and Alex, I think, is a guy that a lot of people think is going to grow and develop into an all-SEC caliber player.
John asked on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel Law, is Ty Gillen currently working the portal as well as preparing for the tournament? I'm sure he has somebody doing that.
Yeah, we asked him about that. You have a staff of people. Jonathan Saffer, their analytics guy, is probably has got his eye on that. But most of the staff was here, obviously, and it's it's always a tricky balancing act when you've when you're a postseason team, certainly like a team like Florida. But that being said, I think a lot of the really, really good players won't be going in until after the postseason ends. So I think they'll have plenty of time to catch up along with the rest of the country. And look, it's going to come down a lot to NIL as well, and what kind of value Florida can bring to the table there. But I think Todd Golden's certainly, if he can make a run here, that will certainly help, because I think kids are going to see this style of play. I mean, they average 85 a game right now. That's sixth in the country. This is going to be a very attractive place to want to play based on Todd's system and, how the Gators play up and down the floor.
Text here on the Titan Mar text line from Jimmy. He says, Kevin, how do you see the SEC teams that play today doing?
I think a little better. I think the matchups are a little better, and I'd be surprised if I think certainly Texas A&M. That's a toss-up game. That's an 8-9 game. But I would expect Auburn, Alabama, and Florida to move on, and for the league to have a little showing. Look, Tennessee dismantled St. Peter's last night, so it wasn't all bad for the league. But certainly, I thought South Carolina was kind of trending downward anyway. So maybe even though I picked them in my bracket, maybe that shouldn't have surprised me as much. I mean, it was a good day for the 11s, and it's kind of funny because I picked New Mexico to win today, Richard Pitino, and he's the last 11. And if they win, then it would be 4 for 4 for 11 seeds. That'd be something.
Yeah, Tony must have just tuned in because he asked here, did you have the shrimp cocktail at St. Elmo's? No, he went to a pizza joint last night. They're talking about Hugh Hathcock's being a big basketball guy supporting. Look, they'll have enough money to bring in good players like they did this year. Remember, pretty much our entire roster came from the transfer portal, except for a few kids that were signed last year or the year before.
Another point, I would trust Todd Golden's evaluations based on what he did this year with it. The guys that he got. Listen, the guys that he got were some smaller school guys. I mean, UC Riverside with Pullen and Walter Clayton Jr. with Iona, whose profile was a little raised because they were in the NCAA tournament, but still, it was pretty good. Paul and then Tyree Samuel. So it's I figured this. 59% of their scoring and 49% of the rebounding was brought in by those 4 starters, and obviously Handlogden who's out now. But those 4 starters have really made a difference.
I mean, it really doesn't matter where you come from, especially in basketball. You look at the kid last night from Oakland. He was playing at a Division II school called Hillsdale. I mean, and he comes in and he's just a pure shooter. So it's trust the process. Golden M will bring in some good players. All right, let's kind of get ahead of ourselves here. I know we're not coaches, so we can talk ahead. Gators win. Marquette wins. Was he the player of the year in the Big East this year or last year, that point guard?
Tyler Kolek last year. Yeah.
Okay, his injury, he's missed multiple games here in the last month or so. What is his injury, and do you think he plays today?
It's a hamstring. No, Shaka said he's going to play today, so he's fine. He's close to 100%. I think they were concerned. They felt like they could have played him last week, and he really wanted to play, but they erred on the side of caution for the bigger tournament. So he's going to be fine.
And do you think he can cause some problems if the Gators he's a really good player. I've seen him play. Very crafty, great shooter. But outside of him, they like to get up and down the court, and that's why I think Florida is a good matchup for Marquette. Now we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
But just your thoughts on that.
One thing they do, though, is they really pressure the basketball. And we have seen Florida against teams that really pressure the basketball sometimes get a little wonky. I mean, certainly, Zion Pullen is a terrific and steady point guard. And the ball is going to, if that matchup happens, the ball is going to have to be in his hands a lot. But we've seen inbound plays be an adventure of time with this team. We've seen, and Shaka will bring that full court press. He'll sprinkle it in. So that's why I think it could be a little bit of a tougher matchup than you think. But that being said, I think, Florida has the firepower to score on them. They can go up and down the floor on them. But I think it'll be a competitive game. I think it'd be a pretty good game if that's the way it shakes out. But you never know. Maybe the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers will have something in, they have a couple of they have a former IU Indiana guy and Christian Lander, a former Purdue guy and Brandon Newman, that 2 guys that have played at bigger programs. So I think you just roll the ball out this afternoon and see. It's going to be a very entertaining afternoon of basketball.
Yeah, Western Kentucky plays at the fastest pace of anybody in America. So I think they'll get up and down the floor. Andy says, am I wavering on the Gators beating Marquette? No, not if they get there. They should win today, and I think they're going to beat Marquette. I've watched Marquette play a lot, and I think we match up very well with them with our athleticism. All right, before we get you out of here, Kevin, any upsets you see today? I'm on James Madison. I picked some upsets yesterday. I had McNeese State. That was a disaster. but I had Sanford, and I think Sanford is a very good team and kind of got screwed. Kind of
Man,
dug themselves in a hole.
I watched that game late last night. That was a block. That was not a foul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Do you think James Madison can beat Wisconsin today?
Yeah, I picked James Madison, and I told you New Mexico was the other one that
Yes.
which is 11-6. I wouldn't call that a big upset, but those are the two that I really like in today as far as any upsets. And
People want to know who's in your Final Four.
Iowa State is in my Final Four. And of course, I have Purdue. I'm going with the Purdue train one more time. I mean, I don't know why I trust them. I have Houston in my Final Four, and I have Arizona. That's it.
Okay, so you got 3 1 seeds.
No, two twos and 2 1s, and I have
Okay.
I have Dusty and FAU beating UConn in the second round.
I got Illinois coming out of that tough region. I
Yeah.
got the Illini. So, Kevin, good stuff as always. I'm sure you'll be tweeting during the game. People can follow you on Twitter where?
At Kevin Brockway G1. You can read my stories at gatorsports.com and Gainesville.com.
Good stuff as always, man. Appreciate your time. Have a good trip.
Bye-bye. That's
Kevin Brockway. Join us on the Titan Number Hotline courtesy of Comfort Temp. This Day in Sports, which is brought to you by Campus USA Credit Union. Put some star power to work in your financial life with Campus USA Credit Union. On this day in, what is this thing keeps, I don't understand this. It keeps going back after I pick the date. It goes back to another date. So anyway, in 1888, the father of American golf, John Reed, first demonstrates golf on a Yonkers cow pasture to his friends. That's This Day in Sports, brought to you by Campus USA Credit Union. I want to thank JC and Kevin Brockway for joining us on the Titan More Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. Should be a good day. Gators are supposed to tip around 4:30, usually a little bit later than that if we're playing the second game. But should be another fun day watching basketball. I think all the SEC teams win today. I think they match up really well. The only one I was surprised with yesterday losing was Kentucky. Nothing else surprised me from the SEC teams. So enjoy your day. Enjoy your weekend. Hopefully the Gators can play well in softball and in baseball as well. Take care, folks.